In this video, we're going to discuss what to do when you're pulled over by the police anywhere in Canada. Stick around to the end of the video for the most important piece of advice on what to do at a traffic stop. If you have a driver's license, you need this information to deal with any situation that arises when you're at a traffic stop. You need to know what to do, what to say, and sometimes what not to say to the police when you're pulled over. Here are a couple of things you should for sure do when you're pulled over by the police. First, pull over safely and quickly. Second, turn off your vehicle. Third, turn off any background music you have going. Fourth, roll down your window. And fifth, think about gathering your driver's license, insurance, and registration. Next, just wait for the police to come to you. Do not get out of your vehicle. Do not go and talk to the police. If they're taking a while, it's probably because they're running your license plate through their systems to see if there's any warrants, if there's any tickets, and if you're a valid operator of that vehicle. Here are some things you should for sure not do. Actually, there's only one really. Do not get into an argument with the police. Famous last words of most of our clients when they get into trouble with police is they tell them, "I'm not doing something, I know my rights." Unlike a situation when you're under arrest and in police custody where you can just say nothing and you can insist on a lawyer, in Canada, at a traffic stop, you do not have a right to call a lawyer. And in fact, the police have a lot of rights to gather information from you. There are 4 things the police can always do at a traffic stop in Canada. First, they can ask for your driver's license. Second, they can ask for the rest of your documents, including registration and insurance. Third, the police can inquire into the mechanical fitness of your vehicle. And fourth, and most importantly, the police can inquire into the driver's sobriety. Yes, they can ask you questions about consumption of alcohol, and they can do a roadside alcohol or drug screening test. It is absolutely critical to understand that the police need not have any reason to ask you those questions. And in fact, the police do not have to have any reason to pull you over. In every case, all across Canada, the police can always pull any vehicle over at random and ask those 4 things and make those inquiries. Here's an important point. Just because the police can always pull you over and ask you about those 4 things, don't assume that's why they're pulling you over. And don't fall into the trap of answering the police questions when they ask you, "Do you know why we pulled you over?" Let them tell you why they pulled you over. The reality is, you have no idea why they're pulling you over. It could be those 4 things, or it could be a number of other things, such as a tip about a stolen vehicle, or a tip about somebody leaving the scene of an accident that matched the description of your vehicle. It could be anything in the world. Let the police tell you why they're pulling you over. Do not volunteer any information to them. While there are some things that the police are entitled to do and you are obligated to comply with, there are likely a million other examples where police are not entitled to ask you the questions that they're trying to ask, and you're not obligated to comply with their investigative steps or requests. So the burning question I'm sure you all have is, how do I know which questions I have to answer and which things I have to do? And how do I know the things I don't have to comply with and the things I can tell the officers I don't want to do? The police know what they're entitled to do and what they're not entitled to do. That doesn't mean they won't push the envelope. Some examples of the things that the police might ask or ask you to do that go too far are asking you where you're coming from, where you're going, who you were with, whether they can search your vehicle, whether they can search your person. That may be going too far in the circumstances, and you may not have to comply with those requests. So how do you know for sure what you do and don't have to do at a traffic stop? This is the most important piece of advice I've been looking to sharing with you. If you're not sure whether you have to comply with the request or answer the question the police put to you, ask the officer whether you have to answer their question. Ask the officer whether you have to provide them with the piece of information they need. Ask the officer if you have to agree to a search of your vehicle. If you're not sure, just ask. This is critical. And it's critical because it will engage your rights. If the police ask you for information but then also tell you that you must provide it, and they're wrong about that, that information will be excluded from any proceedings down the road. If you've been charged with an offense arising from a traffic stop investigation, call us today. Our lawyers would be happy to review the process and explain what we can do to help.